Hi guys, SDJRSNF88 speaking with another instalment of Wagon Review Fortnight, and today's wagon is a very special wagon indeed, as it is one of my favourite types of wagon, and it is the Bachmann 16-ton mineral wagon. Now this one is in BR Bauxite Livery, as we'll see on the end. Its product code is number 37-226F. And as you can see, 16-ton steel mineral wagon in BR Bauxite Livery. Now, I do love the 16-tonner. I don't know what it is about them. Although I suppose most of the reason is these were very common on the S&D. Although they were in their BR Grey livery. As you've seen in many of my videos, I have quite a few BR Grey ones. And for Christmas, my good friend, number one classic car fan, or Chris, as he's also known, well, that's his real name anyway, gave me a Christmas present, and well, it wasn't necessarily this particular. Well, it wasn't necessarily this. It was actually this. It's a Bachmann box, stock box. This is how they're delivered to the shops in, and as you can see, inside is 4 of this precise same wagon. As you can see, this is one of them. So we won't get them all out for this review, but they will all be out for the running video anyway. But I can't thank him ever so much for giving me this awesome present for Christmas. But yeah, he gave me 4 of these beautiful wagons. I haven't, up until this point, I haven't had any bauxite ones. As I mentioned, they're all BR Grey. But the differences between the grey and the bauxite ones is the bauxite ones are air brake fitted, which means they got vacuum brakes. The grey ones, on the other hand, are unfitted, which means they haven't got any brakes that could be operated by the locomotive. So they're basically free running, and the only way that the brakes would be applied is via getting out and pulling down on the handle on the side when they're in a yard. So yeah, I'm going to mix these in with a rake. He's got a few of these because one of his favourite wagons as well. It's also the 16-tonner, and he's got quite a fleet of them as well. Some of them of which he's weathered up himself. So I'm hoping one day to get him for him to bring all of his over, and we'll put all of my grey ones and these ones on the track and have a really long sort of like a wind cutter train. But as they do on the GCRs, they have a load of these preserved on the GCR. Although the GCRs ones are modelled on the non-fitted ones, the grey ones, even though some of them actually are fitted, they're just painted grey. It's because that not very many unfitted ones survived. So the GCR have sort of, modified these a bit. Well, not really modified. All they just did was paint them grey, because they look precisely the same. The only difference is they haven't got that the air brake underneath, the vacuum brake underneath, which obviously makes them a bit more safer to use, sort of thing, because that means they've got control over all of them with the locomotive. But anyway, enough blabbering about these wagons, and we'll get this model on the track and have a closer look at it. So, be right back in a sec. Here's one on the layout, and as with all the other reviews, we'll start from top to bottom. Well, inside to top to bottom anyway. As you see, the inside is a dark grey sort of colour. Now, as you know, I've been weathering up a lot of these 16-tonners lately, including the grey ones. Now, I can clearly state that the inside would not have lasted like that for long. It probably would have looked like that when it came out the factory. But with these wagons, it did. After a few hours of service, the insides would have looked totally different. And as you have seen in my my weathering picture videos of ones that I have done, you can see the inside of them. I've done, basically, I cover up the whole inside area with rust, and then grind in weathering powders, and then on top of that I also add lots and lots of soot powder, and really so it looks like all bits of rust and soot has been caught into all the little nooks and crannies where it has rusted. Now we come on to the side of the wagon. You can see it's beautiful bauxite livery. I've also got the side door on there, and also you can see the little chains holding the flap closed. We got the running number down here, which is B5. This keeps on going in and out of focus there. Hopefully that should sort it. There it says 16-ton B551677. Now all the other 3 of these, which you saw at the beginning of the review, are precisely the same number, as that box is a stock box, as mentioned. That's what they deliver to the shops like. And yeah, so they're all the same number, but the thing is, with 16 tonners, you can build such long rakes of them, and the numbers are quite small. So I'm sure many of the grey weathered factory weathered ones, which I use, as you have seen in my running videos featuring them, quite a few of those have the same running number, but because they're hardly noticeable when you're going on. The only downside to getting loads of the weathered patched grey ones like what I have is that the patches on them are precisely the same on every single one, so you have to flip like one facing one direction, one facing the other direction, and then vice versa, mess it up a bit to make it look like they are a bit random, which is funny enough, one of the things the guy mentioned to me when I was weathering them, he said do make them really, really random as you possibly can, because in real life no 16 tonner would look the same. It's basically like a fingerprint. Their rust patches were like fingerprints. Anyway, back onto the review of this beautiful, pristine, factory finished one, just out of the factory look. You can see this white line here. This is to resemble which end the door is. And here's the door. There are two types of door fitted to the 16 tonners. There's this door, which is the more common door, I feel. Now, some of my grey fleet have this door, but quite a few of them have the other type of door, which is more flush and also has two sort of like bulging out squares in the centre of each panel rather than these struts. So they look slightly different. I personally prefer this end, because this end was more seen on the Somerset and Dorset. Although there tended to be more grey ones on the Somerset Dorset than bauxite ones. And as I mentioned, bauxite livery means it's fitted, which means it's got air brakes. Come on to the end, we've got NEM coupling. We've also got the buffers. The buffer heads are metal, I've got a funny feeling, as with most Bachmann wagons. Then we come onto the chassis, and you can see the brake rigging there. We've got the white handle, and you can see there's the rigging and the disced wheels with holes. You also see the builder's plate under there, just about. Sorry about the lighting, and it probably won't focus if I zoomed in, but there is a builder's plate there. You can just make it out above the axle box there. There it is, but it is very noticeable when you take the body off the chassis, because the body does overhang on the chassis. I do that when I weather them, you see, but it is quite legible, and I'm sure if you took the time and rolled the wagon over, you can really read it, so it really does add to the feel of the wagon. So anyway, that's all for this wagon. I'm sure she'll be a feature in a very, very long 16-tonner rake. My 16-tonner rake, along with the grey ones, and also a few private owner planked wagons. When I'm running my Somerset and Dorset coal train, my Somerset Dorset coal train. Sorry. I'm also hoping on doing a video at some point with #1 Classic Car Fan when he comes over next, because he loves these wagons too, and he's got quite a few of these. And what I'm thinking of doing is getting either a heavy freight loco like 7F, or depending on how many, a 9F, but I'm thinking most likely a 7F, hauling a huge rake of all of our 16 tonners together, which would hopefully, with a brake van behind the locomotive and a brake van at the other end of the train, it will most likely be an unfitted train, because most of our 16 tonners are grey, because they were mostly seen on the Somerset and Dorset in BR Grey. They were unfitted ones on the Somerset and Dorset, but I'm sure a few bauxite ones did run on the line, but then again, modeller's license, and besides they look absolutely excellent alongside the grey ones anyway. But we'll have a really, really long 16-tonner train, maybe a few coal wagons, BR planked coal wagons, and maybe the Rivlington wagons mixed in as well, being a Somerset and Dorset coal train. But anyway, for now, you'll see her again in the running video, which will feature after all the reviews, along with the other three, to beef up the rake a bit. So that's all for now, and I hope you enjoyed the next I hope you enjoyed this review, and I hope you enjoy the next review as well. So anyway, this has been SDJR Son F88 speaking, and thanks for watching.